Hey everybody, this is James Williard with Zenergy Dance Sport again. Another lesson that we're going to work on today. I'm trying to send these out as much as possible. This will probably be the last day that I'm doing it here at the studio because as of 5 o'clock today we can't be anywhere. It's shelter at home in Denver. So I thought I'd go ahead and do one last video today from here, and then I'll be doing the rest from my house. So just to give you a little bit of technique and things that I want you to work on, one of the things that I would like for everybody to start working on is a little bit of balance and control in your waltz and your rise and fall. So I have some exercises that I teach in my advanced technique classes, which basically anybody can take. It's just about it's taking technique and doing different things with it, a little bit more advanced exercises. And so one of the things that I teach everyone to do is basically first we get practicing with rise and fall. We practice by going up and down. That's basically what we practice. Getting used to these ankles to warm up, making sure we warm our ankles up as we do this. So we just go up and down, okay? Once we get good used to that, one thing else I like to do is make sure that we're getting everybody understanding about making sure you use your knees, sending your knees forward. This is one of the other things that I like everybody do. This is a great warm up. If you go early for your lessons when we can start teaching again, these are little things that get you warmed up, okay? So you can get used to ready for dancing, okay? So this is one of the things that we do just to get our ankles and our knees warmed up. And this is just getting us used to, going up on our toes, using our knees, things like that. The next thing that I like to do is once we feel comfortable with that and we've warmed up everything in our body and our legs, the next trick that I like to do is I like for everybody to go send their knees forward and kind of make sure you keep your posture nice and strong. And then what I like to do is just as we're down here like this, is just pick up my heels and then place them back down. Again, pick up my heels and place them back down. Pick up my heels and place them back down. Okay? So this is a great exercise to practice as well, all right? For rise and fall. Okay? This is all developing muscles throughout your legs and your ankles. That's going to help you so you can always have great balance when you're doing waltz, foxtrot, any of the dances that use the rise and fall. Okay? The next thing that we do is after we get used to that, we're getting here and we're picking up our heels, we're getting used to balancing. You want to make sure that I think of, in my mind, everything is working towards my center line, okay? So that's what I think about. So I think about everything's working towards my center line, okay? That's where I have better balance, all right? So the next thing after we get used to doing this, picking up our heels and being able to hold it, I have people practice that. Pick up your heels, hold it, and see how long you can hold it. Okay, it's a great workout for this area of your body, your quads. It's a great workout for your calves, great warm up for your ankles. So these are all the things that I think are important, okay, in your dancing. The next thing is what we do is we take it to another level. We start off down here and we pick up our heels, okay? Then I'm going to go all the way up, okay, to my toes, as high as I can go. Then I bend my knees forward again, and then I place the heels back down. And I do that several times, okay? So I pick up my heels, I go all the way up, I hold it for a second, I bring it back, I bend my knees first, and then I bring my heels and put my weight back down. That's a great exercise to start practicing working on balance and control for when you're doing rise and fall, and when you're doing rise and fall in foxtrot, which we all know that they have different levels of rise and fall. You have a waltz is our highest. We swing the highest. We go more up with rise and fall. Foxtrot, we're going a little bit more across the floor, okay? And we also have some rise and fall in Viennese waltz. So these are the things, and also believe it or not, in Bolero, we have rise and fall, okay? It's not as extreme as some of the other dances, but we do have rise and fall. So the other thing that I have everybody practice is after we do that, let me do it from the side so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm sitting here, nice and trying to make sure that my posture is nice and strong, stretching up. I'm going to engage my legs by picking up my heels. Then I'm going to push myself up to the balls of my feet. Oops. Okay? Find where my balance point is. We talked about stacking your blocks. Then I'm going to bend my knees forward again and then put my heels back down. Ooh, that was a little difficult one. So let's do that again. I need the exercise, all right? So, been sending home a little bit too much. So I'm going to send my knees forward, picking up my heels. I'm going to pull all the way up, hold it for a second, bend my knees, and then bring my heels back down. Again, this is a great warm-up for you to get your legs ready to start dancing. Also, it's a great warm-up to try to practice your balance point, okay? It's all about finding our balance. No one can find your balance for you. You have to do it yourself. We teach at our studio different ways of finding your center of balance, okay? And it's somewhere inside there. Again, we're all shaped differently. We're different sizes, different heights, different things like that. So our center of gravity and our balance point is going to be somewhere different for everyone, okay? We can only give you the tools to help find them, okay? So the next thing that I do is after we get practicing doing that, I want to practice moving it, okay? So what I do is I stand down. I'm going to scoot over this way a little bit, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach my foot to the side. So I'm going to reach my foot to the side. I am going to move over with the heel up, okay, and bend the knee. Then I'm going to squeeze, making sure that I'm pulling up from my center, also from my pelvic floor. I think of it from my adductors right here, okay? So I'm going to squeeze up and keep that connection to the floor as I squeeze all the way up, finding my balance point, coming all the way up to my feet together, bend my knees, put the heels back down, okay? Now I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to point my foot. I'm going to move over, heel is up, knee is bent. I'm going to squeeze my inner thighs. I'm going to pull my foot connected to the floor as if I'm pulling a piece of paper over, okay? And I'm going to squeeze all of that together as I come all the way up, hold it, bend my knees, and lower my heels, okay? You'll find that one side is going to always be easier than the other side. One leg is going to be a little bit stronger than the other leg, okay? But this is a great exercise to do. I'm going to do it to the side so you can see what I'm doing. So you can see how I keep my foot up. I'm bending my knees. As I bend my knees, I point that foot to the side. What I do now is I'm going to move over onto that foot, okay? And then I'm going to keep the knee bent, heel up. I'm going to squeeze everything together, keeping connected to the floor, having my balance here. I'm going to squeeze everything together, keeping my heels up. Then I'm going to bend my knees, and then I'm going to place the heels back down onto the floor. Go back to the other side. You don't want to be off balance. One side's stronger than the other. So I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to move over, heel up, knee bent. I'm going to think about, make sure everything's posturized here. I'm going to squeeze all the way up. And then I'm going to bend my knees and lower my weight back down on my heels. Did you like the new word I just came out with? Posturized. Okay, making sure everything's balanced. In one of my other videos, I talked about stacking your blocks. This is one of the things that I use those stacks of blocks for, making sure that I have everything stacked appropriately, okay? So that's the other thing. So we talked about in another lesson as well about feeling that center of gravity over your foot, okay? Remember we talked about feeling to see how it goes forward and how it goes back. You'll notice that when you create this rise and fall, you're having to make slight adjustments in your posture, okay? That's going to have to start adjusting because you're going to the forward part of your foot, your widest part of your foot, the ball of your foot, okay? And as you go to that, you're going to have to adjust some of that balance point of how those stacks happen, how everything happens, how I balance, and as I go forward, I feel like that I'm almost looking over a giant fence, okay? I always tell my friends, if you want to practice, and also my students, if you want to practice rise and fall and being over the balls of your feet and balancing, just go, if you have a privacy fence in your backyard, you're going to go stare on your neighbors, okay? I always say, we got to figure out what they're doing up there. We don't trust our neighbors right now. They're new neighbors. So what I do is, privacy fence is up here. But I want to kind of look over the privacy fence, look up over it, see what they're doing, and then I sneak myself back down, okay? So that's a fun way of thinking about it. So this is a waltz exercise that I like to do side to side, okay? I like to practice it side to side. It doesn't take a lot of room to do it, okay? Then eventually, once we get that side to side action, Then I want to kind of start practicing forward and back. So when I practice it forward and back, what I'm doing is I'm going to go forward, okay? And this is just an exercise for you to develop the tone that you need in your leg. I go to the foot, okay, with the heel up, knee bent. Now I'm going to pull everything forward. When I do this action, I think I'm in Venice, Italy. I think about having a gondolier, okay, that I'm a gondolier, okay? And I'll start singing for you in a second, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press down into the floor as if I'm using a gondolier pole, and I'm going to squeeze, and I'm keeping that connection to the floor with my back foot, squeezing everything up together so that it's balanced, and then I'm going to lower everything back down, just like I did to the side. Practice that backwards. I'm going to push my foot back, okay? I'm going to now feel like I'm going to keep this knee bent, the heel is up, and I want to pull everything back, okay? And then I'm going to bring my feet together. And then I'm going to try to bend my legs and lower down. And I'm going to do that back and forth. So I've done it side to side, forward and back action. This is just so that you get used to how you use your legs in that rise and fall, okay? So there's different techniques you can do, but these are one of the ones that I like to use with my students in our technique classes, okay? So if you ever want to just practice this rise and fall, and I know all you my students out there need to be practicing this, okay? Because it does several things. Not only does it get you used to practicing and squeezing the rise and fall, and then lowering, it practices the action that you need, the tone that you need, the connection to the floor as we're squeezing this all together, okay? So I always talk about the connection to the floor as well. The floor is your friend. The floor is always going to be there for you, okay? It's always going to be underneath your feet. You can always be pushing into it, and you can always use that floor for a connection, for balance, for stability, along with all the other things that you've created inside your body. So again, I see a lot of people picking their feet up in the walls a lot, okay? Especially as we move on. So if I'm doing like a bronze action, I'm going to go here, squeeze it together, bend my knees and lower onto my heels. But let's say that I'm in one of the more advanced levels of bronze and also silver, gold. I need to practice a collection of pulling together and then right back out, okay? So there's different reasons why we would do that, but that's another great exercise, is practicing moving to the side, knee is flexed, heel is up. I'm going to squeeze everything together. Once I get it squeezed underneath myself, I'm going to practice it at different levels, and then I can come right back out with that same leg. Doing it the other way, side, squeeze it all together, get it underneath my body, and then push it right back out, okay? That's another exercise you can use. A lot of people like to use the term brushing your feet together. I try to stay away from that word, because what happens is I see people going here, and they go click and back out. They're balancing on one foot. This foot has left the floor, which we never really want to let our feet leave the floor. We want to keep that connection to the floor. So what I want to make sure is happening is that I'm squeezing, but I'm also pulling into the floor for that control and for that balance. And then I can just push that foot right back out and balance on it. Now you notice when I push it back out, when I'm practicing this advanced level, when I'm pushing this foot back out, okay, I want to feel, and do this in slow motion, feel my weight go all the percentages through, okay? I've got about, I don't know, but probably 20, 30% on that foot, and then I want to feel myself go to 50, and then once I get to that 50 point, I want to start bending my knee, and so I feel like it's pulling the rest of the percentage of weight off, okay? So that's how I like to practice that higher level of balance, going back and forth with that action, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this little dance fitness exercise class. This is what it feels like to me, because I can feel my legs working, they're burning, which is a great workout for your legs, okay? Dancing gets you in shape. That's how we came out with LeBlast, our wonderful LeBlast founder, Louis Van Amstel, who from Dancing with the Stars developed LeBlast, because we realized that when you actually are using the technique and you're doing the dancing correctly, you're using a lot of muscles within your body, okay, which is helping you get in shape, tone your muscles, and then also it helps you have control and balance in every way of life. I tell the story a lot. I had a student at one time years ago. She was at a fitness class somewhere else, not my studio, and she broke her hip. Had to have a hip replacement. She had to have a partial hip replacement. It was 6 weeks later that she was back to dancing and competing in a competition. And one of the surgeons said the main reason why she was so able to recover quickly is because of the strength that she had in her core and in her legs and from dancing. And so I'm telling you right now, dancing is one of the best things you can do in your life. It helps you mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I tell everybody, it's the reason I've never left the dance floor. I've gone here and there a couple of times when I needed to teaching, but I love coming back to teaching. My passion is teaching, and I hope everybody is having a safe time at home. Keeping yourself safe, keep yourself healthy, wash your hands as much as possible, use hand sanitizer as much as possible. We're doing this together. We're going to help save this planet and save this our community that we have by listening to what is reported to us from the doctors and CDC. Okay? So don't forget, keep dance alive, and let's find us on our YouTube channel. It's under James Williard right now, and you'll see our Zenergy logo. Go, subscribe, like, share, so we can get ourselves out there. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day and a blessed day. And remember, keep the love right here and share it to everyone. Thank you.